Hello, ladies. Welcome to the podcast Living in Your Feminine with me, your host, Victoria Janke. This is a safe place for you, sisters. We're going to talk about all the feminine subjects, what it means to be a woman, how you thrive as a goddess, how you be successful in business. But we're also going to talk about subjects that people don't normally talk about, like miscarriage, because we want to educate people and also that women don't feel alone anymore. I have amazing experts who are going to give you so much value. So get a cup of tea and let's go. Hello, beautiful sisters. Welcome to another episode of Living in Your Feminine. I hope you had a beautiful day or your day is starting now and you woke up fresh. I'm so excited to have you here on my couch again because today I have a beautiful woman sitting next to me on my couch. Her name is Federica Jarvis. She's half Italian, half French Caribbean. She's a somatic healer and sensual embodiment coach for women. Hello, dear.
Hello, Victoria. I'm so glad to be here. I'm really excited to be doing this in person. I love it.
You're so sensual. Even how you talk to me, I'm like, oh, she's so feminine. Woo! I feel it in my whole body. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. We're sitting here literally. We just had a cup of water and cacao because cacao is opening up your heart. And I encourage you who's listening right now, get a cup of tea, get a cacao, and enjoy this beautiful conversation with us. It's going to be very empowering, maybe a little bit emotional, but we're here, we're your sisters, and we're all for living in your feminine. So I would love to ask you a random question, if that is okay.
It's definitely okay.
Wonderful. My random question for you is, what is your favorite thing to do when you feel a little bit down? It's actually not a random question. It's actually a very deep question. But what is your favorite thing to do when you're feeling a little bit down?
Dancing. I love moving my energy, like shaking my hips or moving them in circle, especially heart openers and hip openers, and just being in the body so that I can identify these emotions and the thoughts and then just move them through me.
Even when you said it, I was like moving. I feel this whole energy of you. It's like so good. I love dancing too. Dancing is such a game changer. So we have another thing in common.
Yes.
We just met a few weeks ago at this beautiful event where I also met Maria. She's a friend of ours. I interviewed her as well. And I'm just so grateful. And I know you have this condition, and this is really a mouthful to say, so you have to correct me probably with this and explain what it means.
Yes,
so you have palmoplantar keratosis and alopecia. I actually had to read
Alopecia.
Alopecia.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you explain what this is first? Yeah.
Yes. So I have too much keratin on my hands and on my feet. So I get so much dry skin on my fingers and on my heels, on my toes, and I do not have enough keratin to grow hair. So it's a bit weird because, for example, I do have lashes, but I don't have eyelashes. I don't have hair on my body really. And yeah, I have too much skin on my hands and feet.
You're very beautiful. I know you're
Thank
picturing Federica now. She is so beautiful. You're wearing your makeup, your beautiful self. And I love when I saw you the first time, your energy, you were just like so confident and so radiant and so feminine. You were dancing on stage. You were like smiling at everyone. And I was just like, I need to get to know this woman. Her energy is just on top. And I'm so happy you're here, and I would love to talk with you a little bit about your journey, how this probably, because you're born with this, right? And for women, I mean, I just got hair extensions, and I mean, for women, hair can be something that they use to feel feminine. So and for me, you were so feminine. So I want to know how your journey was and how you ended up being this amazing woman that you are right now and empowering other women. So how was it for you during school? Because I remember I got bullied because I was tall, but I can just imagine how it would have been for you. Like, how was it for you, and when was the shift for you where you were like, no, this is me, I'm going to live my confident feminine self?
So I was bullied pretty much all my school years. Maybe not as bad as people picture bullying, but I was definitely isolated. And I felt less than. Also, especially in my teenage years, I felt a lot like the Italian beauty standards didn't include me at all. And of course, I wanted connection. I wanted to be loved, and noticed by boys like any teenager wants. And that wasn't the case. And it only happened when I shared my body, naked. So I went in a spiral of sending news. It wasn't really healthy at all. But I was also conditioned through it because when I was 13, I was, trigger warning, sexually assaulted. And so I learned, okay, the only way for my body to be worthy is for it to be shared naked. And otherwise, my body isn't beautiful and isn't worthy of love and connection and care outside of that realm. So that was really tough. And I ended up hypersexualizing myself for all my teenage years and early adulthood. And that definitely changed when I was 19 because I moved to Berlin. Well, in London, this shift already started. But when I moved to Berlin, I started my yoga teacher training and I really started diving deeper into my body and realizing that when I was in London, I thought I was this confident woman, but really I was just receiving so much external validation being in a big city where I was almost fetishized for being mixed skin and for looking different, that I just thought, oh, now I'm more confident again. It was just like, no, this is not coming from within. It's an illusion. And I really started looking at all my wounds from my inner child for being bullied and sexually assaulted. And I just realized, okay, I need to heal this. And I tried talk therapy, but that personally for me didn't help. It just re-traumatized me and just kept me in this victim mode. And through yoga, I learned about somatics. I learned about body work. And merging that with subconscious work and energetic work is what really helped me be in my feminine and in my confidence and just regain sovereignty over my body and sensuality and my experience just being alive. And I feel that was the biggest game changer for me. Just going to that yoga teacher training.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, wow. Okay. I did not know that you were also abused when you were 13. I was 16. And that definitely does something to your body as a woman, apart from also being bullied for not having hair. So I totally understand when you say that you felt your body needs to be shared. It's very interesting because I started modeling when I was 16 and then it became a lot about like, oh, I share my body on like photos and like, like not wearing a lot of clothes. And I didn't even think that this might comes from them as well. So you just gave me a breakthrough that this was probably also one thing why I was, because then on social media later, I was also posting very like naked pictures. And I always was like, yeah, I'm so proud of myself for being feminine. And I mean, we should be not ashamed to be in our body. But there's also a point where it's like, okay, am I doing this really for me right now? Or is it in order to get attention and approval and admirers for sharing this, right? And I know you said you were living, so you grew up in Italy and you were an au pair, you told me before, in London, and you were like really going into like, oh, I'm so different, so I'm having fun seeing different men and also getting the validation from the outside, right?
Yeah.
I would love to talk about this as well and then go a little bit deeper in your journey, because I also feel I did this. And a lot of women, they try, and men as well, they try to get their confidence from others instead of looking within, because everything we see in others or that we admire in others, we have within ourselves.
We do.
And what makes us unique, like you not having hair, this makes you so unique and so beautiful.
Thank you. I feel that now, which is really beautiful.
Yes, you do. It's the same with my height, right? Like when I was a teenager, guys came up to me and they said like, oh, you giraffe, you're a giant, you're never going to have a boyfriend. So I hated my height and now I love it. I'm like, I'm owning it. Same with you, because you're not wearing wigs, right? You own yourself. Did you ever try wearing wigs?
Oh, yes. When I was a teenager, I really, really wanted a wig, and I went with my mom and got it, and it was like this long, straight hair wig. I was just trying to fit into the standard, into a box, and now I'm getting this beautiful memory. It's so powerful. I'm so proud of my younger self. Honestly, I love her. I'm like, I want to be bestie with her. If she was here in front of me right now, I would be like, yes, let's be friends. And we are. And I remember being on my way to school, to high school. I had to commute for 1 hour to go to school. Yeah, it was kind of crazy in high school. And I was wearing my wig. And at a certain point, I don't know what the fuck it was. Sorry for cursing. But I just took it out. I was like, no. I literally took my hand and took my wig. And I was like, fuck this. I am not wearing a wig anymore. I'm fine as I am. And I mean, it was a breakthrough, but still it wasn't really a moment of full confidence. But it was the beginning of being like, no, this is not okay. And I want to reclaim myself. And I can't do it here. Yeah.
I call that the fuck moment, where you realize I have enough. Why am I playing a role for someone else? Fuck, this is my life. This is me. I had this moment too when I was very depressed, and then I was like, no, it's enough. It's my life. I'm the heroiness, the hero. I don't know what. Heroine. Thank you. I'm the heroine of my movie. I'm myself, and I'm born like this for a reason, and it makes me unique and makes me beautiful.
Yes.
And you are, and I love this, like, fuck that moment. So good. And also what you shared about, this was so beautiful. I got like chills when you said this, that you would be friends with your younger self and that you're so proud of her. And that's something that I do as well. I give sometimes myself, actually every day I do this now, I give myself a hug and I kiss both of my arms and I say, I love you, I love you, I love you. You're so beautiful. I'm so proud of you. So I'm talking to my version now, but I'm also talking to my inner child and to my teenager version of me, and I'm telling her, I'm here, I'm so proud of you, because once you make peace with your younger self, just try it. It's like it's gonna give you so much love. And I love what you say. I feel like we all should be friends with our younger selves and talk to her and look at photos and be like, I'm so proud of you, because this is also self-love, when you love every part of you, also the younger versions of you.
Oh yeah.
So I love that. Thank you so much. And you said that yoga was changing a lot for you. So first of all, you said therapy actually traumatized you more. I was like, whoa, okay.
I know this is like very polarizing, but it is my truth.
What
I'm not
happened?
saying it is for everybody.
Why did it traumatize you more? Was it a man or a woman?
It was a woman. Okay. Actually, I went to therapy with 3 different women. Oh. And I also feel that talk therapy definitely has its place, and it's beautiful and helpful. And it totally depends on the situation. But when it comes to healing trauma, just talking about trauma all of the time can re-victimize you and just keep you in this loop of understanding and talking about it and over and over, and just hyper-identifying yourself, sometimes as a victim, sometimes as a survivor. And I got to this point where I was like, no, I want to be a thriver. I don't want to be stuck in this loop. And that's where I found somatics and energy healing and subconscious rewiring. And on my journey, I realized, wow, if you merge these together, magic happens, because I experienced it on my body. And that's why I became a somatic healing and sensual embodiment coach. That's my reason, because like it changed my life. And I know it can change so many other women's life. And it's just so powerful. Talking about it is beautiful and it is empowering. And sharing your story can really melt away shame for others, which is so beautiful. But it also has a cap. Like by talking about it, you're not releasing the experience. You're not moving forward. You're just keeping yourself stuck in the experience over and over with the charge. While to me, somatics, you take away the charge and reintegrate the wisdom and the power from the part of yourself that went through the pain, and then you can become a richer human with a deeper capacity to feel all of your emotions and sensations and just be confident as your authentic self.
I love what you said, because we can also, it's like mantras, right? You can, we talked about this in one episode. You can, like, when you say mantras, you can make yourself healthy, or you can make yourself sick as well. If you keep saying, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm not beautiful, eventually your whole body and your soul is going to believe it. And that's how you're going to feel. So I kind of see what you mean with being, when you go to therapy and speaking therapy, that you reliving this trauma over and over again and you're speaking about it. But it's like also a lot of trauma is stuck in your body. So for me, I did therapy as well. I did speaking therapy, but I also did Verhaltenstherapy in German. It's called, where they actually give you exercises, what you can do. And
CBT?
CBT?
It's cognitive behavioral therapy, maybe?
Something like this. I did, I don't know in English, to be honest. But I did like also after my death experience, I started to have this therapy where we went into the accident and I was tapping myself. I think this is more somatic. And I was...
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, it's so true. Like that if you, I think like a combination is good, or like having a coach. And also I went through to Bali and I did a breathing session. It was so powerful, and I released so much stuck trauma in my body, especially in my hips, because of the rape. So I love somatic healing, and it's so beautiful that you experienced that as well. And you started with yoga, because I'm a big I love yoga. I just started it a year ago to really do it, but it's really like sometimes I cry after yoga, sometimes I feel very happy. It's like because the emotions, they move in our body, right? And sometimes things are getting stuck in the body, and maybe you have that, like if someone touches you at a certain part of your body, you get like this resistant feeling, or this feeling of like, don't touch me there. And sometimes this is because there's trauma stuck there. So I would highly recommend you, if you have this, to move, to check it out, to go to body healers, or to go like to somatic healers like you, right? So this is very, very beautiful. And so how did you become a sensual embodiment coach for women? And how did your feminine journey start?
It started by doing my sexual healing. Because through that, so much magic came. I remember being in a heart opener and hip opener class in my yoga teacher training. And I started crying for like 2 hours, the whole lunch break. And I couldn't stop. And I didn't understand, like, why is this happening right now? Like, I don't get it. But then I started getting memories from my past, like the memory of being assaulted when I was 13 by my cousin and his friend. And also I was assaulted in London. I was raped in London, actually, when I was 18 again. And there were so many other experiences that I didn't even label as assault. But then thinking back, I realized, oh, yeah, that was assault too, you know, or even, you know, being groped or things like that. sometimes we downplay the experiences, and I know I did downplay them so much. And I just told myself, oh, I was dressed this way and that way, and I was too provocative or whatever. And that's also the conditioning I got from my mother and from my grandma. And by working through this, I really learned to let go of this and finding safety in my body. That was a big thing. Just nervous system regulation. And nervous system regulation is really about feeling the emotions that you didn't allow yourself to feel in the past, and feeling the sensations and just releasing them, not suppressing them, not processing them through the mind, releasing them through the body and letting them go energetically, which is what I did. And I coupled that with subconscious work. So went in hypnosis and did anger releases and shame releases and part work. And I talked to the people that raped me and assaulted me and didn't treat me well. Literally, I put a chair in front of me and shouted at them, you know? I was just like, I did that until I was exhausted. It was like a workout. And then I felt light. And it was like I was a blank slate. And I started nurturing myself with the sensations and beliefs that I wanted to have in my life. I started making myself feel so loved by myself. Like, as you said, like hugging myself, speaking to myself in the mirror, telling myself I am lovable exactly as I am. And I'm just worthy, you know, and I deserve to be here. And I add value to this world through my life. And then I started naturally dropping my feminine. It's almost like when you let go of all this trauma, all this masculine shell that sometimes you feel that you have to put on to survive as a woman in this world, it's just, you don't need to do things to do in your feminine. You need to release, and then it's going to be so natural because it is your nature. It is your nature. It is how you are when you're a child. You don't think, oh, how can I be in my feminine? What practices can I do? You're just in your body. You're just living, you're just playing, and you are being sensual. I also feel it's so important to say that a sensual woman is not a woman like in lingerie or whatever with red lipstick. A sensual woman is a woman that feels. That's it. If you feel, you're a sensual woman. Every time a woman tells me, oh, I'm not sensual, I'm like, that's impossible. Like, you might have that numbed out because of suppressing and repressing the pain and not working through it and not feeling it and not finishing the trauma cycle so that you can get out of it. But everybody is a sensual human and every woman is a sensual woman. And yeah, that really helped me be just ecstatic, you know? And then I realized, okay, every woman needs to know about it. So I need to do my coaching certification and everything and become a nerd about trauma and things. And that's how it happened.
I love that. Wow. So there was so much in it. I want to reframe a little bit, and I want to thank you for your courage to talk about your assaults and of your sexual abuse, because I know this is not easy. When I couldn't talk about it for years, and it's very powerful sharing this, and we're sharing this not because we're putting ourselves in a victim position. We're doing this for you girls, like for everyone else who experienced that and maybe feels alone with it and feels like there's nothing else more to be happy about in life. You feel like you have no power over your body and over your soul. We feel you. We have been there, and we went from there to where we are right now. And if we did this, you can do this too, and you're not alone. I feel like this is very important to say you're not alone. And first of all, no one had ever the right to take control over your body or your soul. And now it's time to take the love and the control over your body, right? And I love what you said about the share exercise. I did this with a pillow, Actually,
I
it's
love
very
it.
interesting. So that you see the abuser or someone you're angry of, right? Can be also someone you're angry or sad about, can be one of your parents, whoever, your ex-partner. And I challenge you to try this the next time you get very angry or you feel these emotions. Just see this person in front of you. And you can even put a photo there on the pillow or the chair, right? That helps. And then just like, start screaming at them, start crying, start even like if you have a pillow, like scream in the pillow if you're like in an apartment there are other people or let them know, hey, I'm doing a healing session, don't worry, I'm fine. I need to scream it out, but scream at it, like hit the pillow, like cry, like really let it out, and not just do it once, do it many different times. And then after you now do like a hopaona where you like say, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, I'm sorry, you can do it in the different, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. And you say it in different ways. The first time you say it with all your emotions and you see the person who hurt you. Then you say it if this is like a friend of yours, right? And then you say it like with a little smile, and then you say it like as God. And you can do this in the shower, you can do this in front of the chair and like on the pillow. And if you keep doing this, you start to forgive. And I did this a lot of times with my stepfather. I did this with my abuser, the guy, and I had to do this many, many times to forgive. But the beautiful thing is when you forgive, you become yourself again, and forgiving is not saying like, hey, this is okay what you did. Forgiving is letting go. Because how much longer you want to give the power to someone else? How much longer you want to be in the victim position where someone else took your power? Isn't now the time that you take it back, that you forgive and retouch with your beautiful feminine side and start feeling safe again and start loving this side of you? I mean, I was in my masculine because I didn't feel safe. Right? And once you forgive, you start a beautiful healing journey where you start to also start loving yourself. I mean, this is what I wish for everyone who's listening right now. And I love what you said, Federica, about as a child, we don't ask ourselves, oh, how can I be more feminine, right? We are born feminine, and what is happening then? Things happening in our life where we don't feel safe in our feminine, and we forget how it is to be feminine, or we hide it. And it's also what I say, try to be like a child again, dance. Dancing awakens the feminine, right? Dance, like gig around, play with your girlfriends. This is like when the feminine awakens, like treat yourself. And maybe, do you have some exercises that you do to awaken your feminine?
Sensual eating, I love that. Sometimes I go get peaches and strawberries are my favorite fruits, and I just make out with them. Like,
wait, how do you make out with them? Can you explain this?
I just imagine I'm making out with my partner. I mean, you just kiss the fruit, you know? You just take your time and focus on the pleasure and just notice how you feel in your hips as well. Like doing hip circles, that's another thing. Or just cat-cows, even seated and just twerking. I'm a big twerker. I love that.
I love it.
Just non-linear movement, just dancing really sensually. I love just imagining that I'm stripping for the universe and just stripping away anything that isn't serving me and that is keeping me a bit stuck, so that I can drop into my feminine and just imagine, okay, I'm gonna go a little bit out there right now. You know, imagining that the universe is just providing for you and just loving you so much. And even sometimes when I am manifesting and I want to be my feminine and just in this receivership. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I just imagine that the universe is fucking me. Is making love to me. You know, just imagining this, I don't know, masculine universe, energy man just penetrating me. I know. I'm that kind of person.
I love it. I mean, we should have our fantasies, right? And if it helps you to be in your feminine. I love what you said about making love to your fruits. I actually did this once with a lover I had. Mm-hmm. He was cutting strawberries. And I was like, what are we doing with the strawberries? He was like, we're just eating them. But that was so hot. He like literally took the strawberry. And you should try this if you have a partner or a lover. And he put like the skin of the strawberry. He looked me deep in my eyes. And then he put the strawberry on my lips and he was moving it around. Oh, girls, if you have never tried this, please go and try that. This is like freaking amazing. Only worked with me with strawberries. We tried different like fruits, did not work. But yeah, there was, so I kind of get this. This is very sensual. And like, you know, like sometimes I also, when I like play with myself, I also think of my future husband. So so I can imagine
Sex magic is beautiful.
Yeah. And we're sexual beings, right? And also saying, because a lot of people think like, oh, when you got abused, you're never going to enjoy sex again. No, because once you forgive and you let go also doesn't mean that this never happened, right? Like, of course it can still hurt. Of course you can have these feelings and it reminds you of what happened, but it's just not giving it the control over all of your life and over your body and over your confidence, right? Like taking the charge back, taking the power back, being the Victoria, I would say, you know, that is what I mean with this. And then really just like go and live your life and also starting to feel your sensuality again, starting to feel your feminine side, your sexuality as well. And I love how you are like as a woman, Federica, you're so inspiring. You're just owning yourself. Like even I didn't know that these things happen to you as well, but it even makes you more powerful, more beautiful as well as a woman. And you're so thriving and you're so feminine. I thank you so much. This was so good. Is there anything else you want to share with the listeners?
You can find me on Instagram. I have two Instagrams, but there's a new one I'm really excited about. It's called Sensual Alchemy Coaching. And my other one is Your Sensual Alchemist. And I'm coming up with a 8-week course called From Shadows to Light, where we're really going to dive deep into somatic healing around the feminine, around confidence and self-worth. And I'm just excited to guiding women to release their masculine shell and drop into their feminine and play so naturally without it feeling forced at all.
Yeah. So check her out and you can really...
my podcast.
Or her podcast. You can check her out and I'm sure you wish all the women to be in their feminine. I mean, the name of the podcast is Living in Your Feminine. And I'm so grateful you were my guest. And we're going to finish our cacao now and read some oracle cards and sage ourselves. And I hope everyone is having a beautiful day. Sister, enjoy your day. Do some breathing. Enjoy life. Life is so short. Much love. Bye.
Bye.
If you like this episode, please rate, subscribe, and share with other women. Let's create a community of women living in their feminine and supporting each other. If you want to stay connected with me, you can come and follow me on my personal account at victoria.jankel. Until then, I see you next Thursday. Be thriving, goddess, and live in your feminine.